welcome back. We're in it and ready to win it. I'm excited for these next few lessons because I feel like now we get to the good stuff. We've heard the intro, you know how often to practice, you know all that good stuff. And now for the fun part. So, this first lesson is going to be on digging a little bit deeper into breathing and exactly what that looks like, exactly how even more to solve some of those issues. Because I know it's really easy to just say, yeah, breathe in your stomach. But for me, that took me a month, maybe 2 months to try and figure out what the heck are people even talking about. That made no sense to me. So I had to dig through that a little bit more. So for you, I want it to be clear. I want it to be understood. I don't want you to have to be feeling like, wait, is this right? Is this not right? I want you to know that this is the way that things should be. So I am going to have us stand up. I want you to be able to watch my stomach and see how that goes a little bit. So don't be scared to move in these lessons, even to stand in front of a mirror so you can watch yourself and see if you're doing the right things with your stomach. With each of these lessons, like I said in the intro video, there's going to be a warm-up that goes with the techniques that we're working on. So in a little bit, we're going to be doing this exercise called Ha. And as we do it, you'll be able to see your stomach go out. Ha, ha, ha. You can even do that a little bit now as you breathe in without singing any notes. I want you just to breathe in with your stomach, and you can watch mine as I breathe in. Deep breath. And you can feel your hands come out. Let it out. Even, this is the cool thing about breathing, is it's 360 degrees. You can even put your hands like this and feel it in your back, breathing in. So it's not necessarily even just right here, it's all the way around. So feel that. Take a big deep breath in and see if you can feel it. All in your stomach, not in your shoulders. Breathe in again, the biggest breath you got. Now, here's how I describe breathing a lot of times, because a lot of times people think, yep, I got it, no big, done. But here's the difference. It's just like a car with gas. If you fill up your car with half a tank of gas, you will get a little bit of the ways, but you probably won't get, say you're going on a 4-hour road trip, okay? And what's going to happen when you run out of gas? You're going to have to push your car. No one wants that. I don't want it. You don't want it. Same thing with singing. When you're singing and you take a big deep breath in, if you only fill up halfway, what's going to happen when you run out halfway through the phrase? You're going to push. And that's when you get weird tone. That's when it sounds nasty. It doesn't sound as natural. You can hear when people are pushing too. I remember even before I knew anything about singing lessons, I remember being in choir class and hearing somebody pushing, and it sounded something like this. At last my love has come along. And you were like, oh my gosh. I felt like I had to just relax. I felt tense just even listening to it. So you will know if I highly encourage you through all these lessons. You can even record yourself if you're like, I don't know, am I doing that? Am I not doing that? Record yourself. You will be able to hear. You can even ask people around you for feedback. Does it sound tense to you when I'm singing? That's always helpful. It's sometimes hard to hear, but also very useful. And you get better faster the more you record yourself and actually hear what it sounds like. So even though it's scary to do, it's super important. I highly suggest it. So here's the deal. I don't want you to run out of air before the phrase is over. I want you to fill up 100%, so you don't have to push at all, so it just can come out just like a sigh, okay? And so that's what we're going to do right now. I want you to practice breathing in 100% of the way, okay? Not just a 50% and let it out, because you know what's going to happen in that. You're missing then the fullness of your voice. When you actually fill up 100%, it actually feels so tight. You should feel it in your abs, in your lower abs, actually feeling like pressure in the lower part here. And it actually feels like if someone were to go like that to you, just explode because it's so full. You want that. That extra 50% or 30%, say you're only going up 70%. That extra 30% is what adds to your huge fullness, okay? So get the biggest breath you can right now. Like fill up so much. And then what I want you to do is to just do an easy sigh out. Like that. It should feel easy. You shouldn't feel like you've had to push. You don't want that. That sounds ridiculous. And maybe like you're constipated. No deals. So what I want you to do is take a big deep breath and just nice and easy, okay? Do it again. Same thing. Big deep breath in. Take your time. And let it on out. just relaxing. It should feel like yoga. Don't rush the process. Your muscles should be relaxed, and you should just, we're going to take another really just nice deep breath and just sigh it on out, okay? And you can go all the way from the top of your range all the way down to the bottom, okay? One more time. Okay, and feel how easy that was to just sing through that high range. You weren't forcing it. It was almost like a wave, right? If you had this full amount of water just coming right out at you, feeling really natural and easy, which is what we want, okay? So, those are sighs. That's something that you can do a lot in your car. It's that you can do when you start your warm-ups, that you can include that in as warm-up. But what I would like us to do is next to do it's called ha warm-up. It just is super simple where it's going to sound like ha, 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 ha. But before we get into it, I want to address one other quick question that people have been asking. Do I breathe in with my nose or my mouth? People always are asking that. So, I want to be clear. You can do either. It's not a huge difference if you do one or the other. A lot of times as you get better, you can do it, breathe in your nose and still get an open throat. But a lot of times when people first start singing, it's hard to breathe in your nose and open your throat at the same time. It's this really weird combination thing happening. So a lot of times when people start singing, I say breathe in your mouth first till you can get it really easy and it becomes a habit to just breathe in and feel that openness as you breathe in, and then you can start doing it through your nose. Now, if you've been singing already for a while and that's easy for you to do, sure, more power to you. But for me, I need that. When I first started singing, I really needed the openness of your mouth. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to do ha's. In between each one, I'm going to pause, especially because this is new for some of you guys, this deep breathing. I want you to take the time to make sure you're actually doing it and not just falling into that habit of quick, short, but filling all the way up, okay? I cannot stress that enough. So let's start on the ha's and be very aware of how your body's feeling when you're getting tight, when you're feeling relaxed, okay? Here we go, biggest breath. And sing ha, 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 ha. Now what I can say sometimes that you can do too, if you're having a hard time being able to tell if your stomach is moving or not, don't be scared, just leave your hand right there the whole lesson. No big deal. Every time you breathe in, feel your hand come out. Even as you do this warm-up, ha, 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 ha. Watch my hand moving, it's almost kind of creepy. Ha, 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 ha. You see that happening? That should be how you want that to be, okay? Again, if you need to bring a mirror in, go ahead. No harm there, okay? Big breath again. Ha, 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 ha. Feel that nice breathe in and just that nice coming out, okay? Ha, 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 ha. Next one, get that huge, deep, relaxed breath. You ready? Ha, 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 ha. If you're a man and you're going with us and you need to drop down an octave, don't be scared to do that either, okay? Ha, 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 ha. Big deep breath. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. Notice I'm not going super fast in my breathing. It's not a ha, ha, ha. That can come later on, okay? Don't rush it though now. Take your time. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. Keep it going, and we're going to be getting higher up. So if you're not comfortable yet with your high notes, it's feeling soft or different things, that's okay. Just do the best you can with getting your full deep breath. Let's focus on that first, okay? Biggest breath you got. Ha, 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 ha. Two more. Ha, 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 ha. Last one. Ha, 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 ha. Beautiful. Now, there's two other little things that I want to give as tips to you as you're going on through these warm-ups, because we are going to do a few high ones in 1 second. But before we do that, I want to be really clear that for some of you, the high notes are the hardest thing. Whenever I start with any new person, it's always the high notes that give people a hard time, which is totally fine. That's great. Most people can't get their high notes full and strong without instruction, and I definitely couldn't either. It's totally, you're in a great spot. So don't feel bad about that. But you also will not have all of it all together just because you've done a lesson one lesson. So be patient with yourself. I consider it like a house. It's the building blocks, okay? Your good breathing is your foundation. And as you get your foundation, then you can start putting on the walls. You can start putting on the roof. Now, I just heard something fall in my house. I hope everyone's okay. Here it is, live and real for you all here. Anyway, so it's the foundation. Breathing is your foundation. If you get that, really great. Then you can put the walls on, right? Then you can put this beautiful roof. But if you're trying to put this beautiful roof before you have a foundation or walls, it's kind of pointless, right? It's not really going to do much for your house. Okay, so right now when you're like, oh, but my high notes don't sound good, this isn't working, be patient with yourself. Get the foundation first, okay? Just focus on breathing, one thing at a time. Get that good habit, and then you can go to the walls. And then after the walls, and so on and so on. You know what I mean, okay? But be patient with yourself, because a lot of times when people start breathing in really full, it almost feels like, have you ever let out a balloon and you breathe into the full it up, and then you let it loose, and it's like, and it feels totally wild and crazy. That's how I felt when I first started breathing full, because I had this full support going, like all this air just, and I was like, my notes felt nuts, to be honest with you. It felt totally crazy. So don't feel bad. You're reconstructing how you've been doing things from the ground up. So some other stuff might still feel out of whack. Like I said, we're building one thing at a time. Just be patient with just the foundation, getting that good breath support, and then we'll build the rest as we go, okay? All right, great. If it feels weak on your high notes, no stress. If it feels out of control a little bit right now, that's totally fine too. We'll get all of those things, all right? Just continue to be patient through it. Now, before we get to these high notes, I want to make sure we do one last little thing. I know there's so many things being thrown at you. You're thinking about, oh gosh, okay, open guts, this happening, relax, this, But just try to do the best that you can for now. The more you do it, the more it becomes a habit. The more it's like riding a bike. You don't think about every little thing now. You just hop on and you go, okay? So that will become a habit, and quicker than you think. Be excited about that. But as we get to the high notes, one thing that's really important when you're breathing in is that you're breathing in, I call it the yawn breath, okay? Think of yourself when you're about to yawn. Can you feel the back of your throat kind of open up? Do it again. You're like, I'm tired, I'm sleepy. You feel that opening. You can even look in the back of your mouth. This is a little creepy, but also a little cool. If you look in the back of your mouth in a mirror, I'll do it and see if you can see it in this way. You see the uvula in the back of your mouth, that little thing that when there's cartoons, you know, when they yell and it kind of goes, oh, you can see it lift up if you're breathing with your yawn breath. Okay, I'm going to do it for you, and let's see if you can see it. Ready? Can you see that lift up? I'm not sure if you can. It feels kind of close up, to be honest with you, but see in the mirror, see if you can see. It should lift up like this as you're breathing really deep in your yawn breath, okay? But this is important for your high notes to get a fuller sound and for it not to cut off your air. Because a lot of times what happens is if you start to get the full breath support and your higher ones, a lot of times people get scared on the high notes and it kind of stops your air. You get tense, you're and hear that the air stopped. Right? It gets really weird. So if you have a good yawn breath, it's keeping you open. It's keeping the air just flowing through. So let's get a huge, deep yawn breath. Breathe in like you're yawning, or someone handed you the biggest apple ever and you tried to put it in your mouth and open up for these high notes. We'll do 3 high ones, okay? 2 more. 1 more. Okay, and again, if those are hard for you, don't worry, you'll get there. Just keep doing the best that you can, all right? Now, I want to get into a song. So I picked a song. It's called Perfect by Ed Sheeran. It's kind of popular on the radio. Hopefully some of you will know it. If you don't know it, you can look it up on YouTube. There's tons of versions of it. He even does a version with Beyonce, which is pretty awesome if you ask me. But look it up. We're going to be going through a piece of that song right now. If you don't know the lyrics, you can also just Google it. Look up Google Perfect by Ed Sheeran lyrics or Perfect by Ed Sheeran chords. They even have a sheet music too if you're more comfortable with the sheet music of it. You can do that on musicnotes.com. I get a lot of sheet music from there, and normally you can transpose things too if you need it in a different key for a man or for a higher voice or a lower voice or different things like that. So that's musicnotes.com if you want the actual sheet music. For now, though, you'll be totally fine with the lyrics. And I want you, it's even nice to print it out so you can mark things up on there. My music that I always was doing voice lessons with had so many markings. I would put a little mark for where I should be breathing, where I should be open. There was all these crazy little stick figures, like doing crazy stuff on there. Don't be scared to do that. Any reminders you can get as you're learning